The purpose of this community meeting is inform about a recent change that happened within our Superadmin board. Unfortunately, there was a member that is no longer part of the community that has decided to go their own separate way, and we are basically in a disagreement. So they will no longer take part of the Superadmin team per se. Basically, to be fair, we've handled multiple times or multiple incidents per se where we've had, you can call incidents, occasions, whatever you want to call it, situations, where we've had, staff members or superadmin, disagreeing with certain things. We have always, dealt with the issue internally, because honestly that's the way we prefer to go, and that's the way that, generally speaking and professionally speaking, it goes. Unfortunately, in this occasion, it was not handled properly. We at Frosty Gamers, even though there's certain people, and this goes to all cases that we've had before, we've had an administrator that had similar issues. We've always dealt with the issue internally, without involving people who are not supposed to be involved. Personally, I think that posting private conversations is not the best way to go. I don't think it is appropriate. I do think that it is a private conversation for a reason. I think that as a member of the staff, you have certain obligations, and though, there's certain disagreements at hand, you can't just tag everybody on a server with screenshots of a private conversation with the intent of harming or exposing or whatever you want to call it, somebody. So, with that in mind, as I said before, our intentions as a group is to deal with these losses or these incidents in a private and professional way. This was unfortunately not the case. It was not an issue of our side. The person was involved decided to take matters by their own hands. Hence the reason why they're not here right now. Basically, the way this issue originated is over the past year, I would say, because this is something that has been going on for a long time. We've always had different shifts, different changes in certain policies and certain regulations we have. And we've always expected as a team to enforce it all together. And if somebody has a problem, you can go ahead and contact your chain of command, or contact myself, and we can have a proper conversation. How that has happened countless times with different members of our staff. The issue was handled in a proper manner, and the results were outstanding. Both parties, resulted happy per se, which is the best way to go. I think that, I don't know, what kind of models you guys have in mind, but in no way, shape, or form, performing those kind of acts, posting private conversations, that is not something that a person who is willing to seize the issue would do. Involving everybody in attempts to harm an environment, because honestly, the intents were malicious. I think there is no doubt in that. And especially trying to heat up the conversations by other members. I honestly don't understand that very well, given in mind that, what we're trying to do again is work as a community, right? All together, seize the pain, try to, just work with each other. As of right now, our community is undergoing two very important projects, which were revealed by an advisor, which, wasn't supposed to happen. However, we are in the works of a Minecraft faction server, We are past, I would say, 75% completed at this time. And the other thing that was not announced, we are also in the works of a Dark RP server. These are two of our main projects that we have going on. It is a pity, it is a shame, it is unfortunate that these have to be disclosed in this, in this sort of circumstance or environment. So myself and the development team has a lot of things going on. We are very busy. We are having a lot of meetings. We are pouring, at least I'm pouring time, resources, money. I'm shifting my schedule for this. We are all pouring in a massive amount of resources in order for this to work. And of course, we are expecting, after everything we're doing, full cooperation by all members of staff. That is so pathetic. Somebody joined with Santa's baby. They want to join the community meeting, that's honestly. But see, this is a prime example of somebody who is very childish, clearly has never been involved in any kind of working environment, and has probably never worked in a team. As you can see, that is a prime example of how pathetic people can be. So again, we as a team intend no harm towards those members or staff members that disagree with any policies in place. I think everybody has the right to do whatever they want to do, and that's fine. But I don't think you need to involve and force and heat a conversation to have everybody be against something so simple and nonsensical. So going back to our main two things that are going on right now, we're trying to develop two servers. It is a task that is immense, at least for myself. I think it is a challenge, but want it or not, this is something I'm doing for the community. These are, we're building these two servers to deliver what the community is intended to, which is entertainment. We're here to have fun, and the staff members are here to ensure that everybody has fun, and everybody has equally, fun. See, now another person joined with the name Alabama Nigger. It is the same person before. Somebody can ban that, that would be appreciated. So again, this is a bit pathetic, at least from my point of view. As I said before, we do not intend to harm or damage or be, not appreciate somebody's work. We are immensely thankful for what Zombies has done for our community. He has been with me for a long time, and I highly appreciate everything that he has done for us. Unfortunately, we have disagreed in the past week, I would say, which has led inevitably to his departure from the community. As I said before, this community and myself needs people who are willing to cooperate. We need people who are focused in this mission of, delivering this safe, viable, fast, fun, quality people place for everybody. That's what I intend. That is what every super admin, that is what every staff member intends in this server or in this community. And I think that that's what all members should intend as well. But of course, I don't have any sort of control over that. So I think that we can all agree, especially if you have been on other communities, that we are a very responsive community to feedback. We're constantly updating our servers when we can. We're constantly delivering updates. We're constantly remodeling our policies and our structure in order to deliver the most adequate and the most truthful or authentic service to those who play on it. Of course, just like any community, company, service in the world, there is going to be disagreements. We all come, or there's some of us who come from a different culture, from a different space, a different context, and we all have our own very ideas of what is an ideal community. But this is an attempt of combining all of those ideas into one service. As I insist, I'm trying my best on this mission, and what I need is people who are willing to cooperate. What happened today is honestly unacceptable. I think that it is sad that it has to end that way. However, as I initially said, we do not intend to harm or expose anybody's image. I think that is unprofessional, unethical, and honestly not fitting for our model. So, the explanation for the departure of the super admin, zombies, the former head of Discord, we disagreed with some policies. It was taken to an extreme in which, honestly, you know, the conversation was not very formal. It came out of, it went out of our hands. Hence, the reason why he resigned. I insist, I did not, or we did not, fire him. However, of course, at this point, my apologies. I suppose that at this point, you guys have, the private conversation that we had was distributed in the unprofessionally distributed materials, which is the private messages that were distributed, are now in everybody's hands. So I suppose that at this time you can judge, you can have your own opinion on them. However, I can vouch, as I was one of the parties involved in the private conversation, that, I obviously suggested that after all the disagreements we had, that he should go ahead and leave. Because, and I insist, this message goes for everybody. If you don't like it here, if you don't agree with me, if you don't agree with the super admins are doing, and you have brought up the issue, I suggest you leave. Because we're trying our best here. And if that is still not enough, if you're not appreciative of what we're doing, I suggest you leave. What we're trying to do here is something great. We're trying to build a place where it's fun, we're all in harmony, and we just, get on Discord, have a talk here and there, have fun. And with these two main projects going on, we are very busy. The administration is super busy with everything that's going on. And the least thing we need is uncooperative people. So members of the community, if you... My voice got cut out? Okay.
No, you have not got cut.
So, members of the community, if you don't like it here, if you've been here, if you give it a try and you don't like the people here, you don't like how things work, we invite you to leave. Nobody is forcing you to stay here. However, we want you to give it a try, and we want every single person in here to feel comfortable. We're trying our best to be as responsible or as responsive to feedback as we possibly can. There's over 200 people in this Discord server, which means that it is highly difficult to sometimes ingest the amount of suggestions and things like that. If you see our change logs, if you see everything that goes here, I mean, the Terror Talent change logs basically consist in suggestions that were made reality in community meetings or in private staff meetings. So again, you do you can judge by yourself what you think that is an ideal community. But I think that what we're doing here is great. I think that everybody in here has the responsibility of cooperating, and I think that, as I said before, I think that it is a group work that obviously has to go through this sometimes. It is unfortunate. It is something that, I didn't intend to initially happen. But we all have our own opinions. And we all have our own way of handling things, and everybody does what they can. I don't blame anybody for how they handle things, but I don't know. I feel like, as I said before, everybody's doing what they can. So, if anybody has any questions, any comments they'd like to do, feel free to do that right now. Everybody's on push to talk, though. You can unmute your mic, and one at a time in a properly manner. If you want to, you can go ahead and ask a question. I wanted to do this as short, informative, and peaceful as it could possibly be. But go ahead, whoever is
If I may.
please go ahead.
Hello. I'll make it brief as I'm currently at a wedding reception and don't have a lot of time. I'm just going to recap what Moo said. We're supposed to be a community. Obviously, communities have disagreements. Obviously, I don't get along with everybody. Obviously, not everyone's going to get along with me. It works that way for everybody. If you have a problem, follow the chain, and it will get solved. There's a lot of infighting going on. There's a lot of arguments. There's a lot of this, a lot of that. There's a lot of back talk. There's a lot of gossip going on. Gossip is fine, but not when you're talking about people who are supposed to be your friends. We're supposed to be a family here. I personally want to see us all come together, simply because we're undergoing massive changes, and frankly, we can't afford the discussion. We either all have to or people care about this and the constant back and forth, and frankly, it's not needed. If I've said it before, I will say it again eventually. If you have a problem with somebody, by all means, speak to them about it, but don't turn it into a back and forth. Say your piece, leave your argument there, and something will be done about it. They'll be pulled aside and talked to privately. There's no need to put your friends on blast. We're all friends here. We all work here. Work together. Things will happen a lot smoother. That's all I have to say.
But yeah.
And if you'll excuse me, have a wonderful day.
Thank
I don't
you,
know.
Wolf.
She was dying. Would anybody else have any questions before I wrap it up?
I believe that's about it.
Okay. So as I said before, we have projects, we have ideas, we have developments going on. The community is advancing, and inevitably there's some people who are going to disagree. There's some people who will want to go their own separate ways. That's the way it is. I wish everybody could be aboard. I wish everybody would agree with everything, but fortunately, that's not the case. So, if anybody would like to say anything, as I said before, this will be my final breath before I die. We are trying our best. And please, if you're going to bring up an argument, if you are going to harm the community, please just leave. Honestly, don't go through the trouble of having, to remove you from the community. Other than that, I thank everybody for coming out and listening to my 20-minute explanation of the recent events. There will be a proper announcement filed. However, this is, of course, an emergency resource, given that so many people were concerned and concerned about what was going on. So the community meeting is officially over. I will be probably on Discord, in a channel or something. You guys are more than welcome to any questions, and this channel will be moved again to no push to talk needed.
Oh my god. That was beautiful.
What?
Well
That
said.
was beautiful.